Hi, I'm Alessandro Guarino, and I'm a screenwriter. I always been passionate in general about cinema. I always love storytelling, mostly character-driven kind of story. So I came here in Canada to be a director. Then COVID arrived, so it was like, okay, how can I still work on my stories without having to, bring people outside and just make it as safe as possible, but still being able to, tell those stories. And I thought writing was the perfect media to, cover that passage between the pandemic and everything. It's just a piece of white paper that can be whatever you want. So I actually went to the screenwriting course. That was actually even a little bit before COVID. It was mostly to improve my English. And then I just discovered there was a perfect way during the pandemic to still be able to work on your things. So I wrote my first feature film at school called METASTASIS. And it's been it's been a wild ride when I was writing it, because I had clear in mind where I wanted to go for. But everyone else in my school not everyone else, but some of them were very confused about where I was going for. It was a criticism in a certain way, because it was very harsh. It was very cynical as a story. But I thought it was just a beautiful movie. So I decided to keep writing it, and I had some beautiful mentors in school that they were like, no, you should believe in what you're writing. I know it's weird. And the fact that no one understands what you're writing, it's because it's something new and they're not used to. So go on, follow your idea. And I did it. And now, after I finished school, immediately after, it's been optioned by a director down in LA, Travis Stevens. So it was just awesome. And since then, my working life has completely changed. I went to New York with him. I met a lot of different people. I went to different premieres, and I just met awesome people that were like, yeah, I love your project. I love your voice. I love your stories. And that helped my process. I'm messy. I'm very messy. I would love to say yes, absolutely. I'm very organized. I have a whiteboard and blah 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 with post-it. No, nothing like that. I wake up a day and I'm like, hey, this is a nice image that I have in mind. What does it mean? Where it comes from? And then I try to do like a patchwork of kind of idea that I have, and try to make it an old story. And there are like some small threads that actually connect these ideas that I have most of the time. And so most of the time I'll try to, as I said, Frankenstein these ideas and try to make sense. And for now, it's working really well. Everything is happening in this case, for a reason. So all the time I start to write these stories like, yeah, obviously goes after this, and this is after that, and this is the arc, and things like that. So yeah, it's mostly like chaos. This is my way. The second act, it's just hard. It's very much based on what you're writing and how you're writing. My story are not very like plot driven, are very much character driven. So that can be helpful and can be very hard sometimes, because I need to follow my character to understand what the plot is and where are we going and what they will discover and things like that. And I feel that sometimes can be, quite hard to follow through as a plot, and just putting inside characters and just make them having like a reaction to that plot and what happens, more than having them creating the plots and things to react to. I'm a huge fan of 80s cheesy horror movies. Sort of sometimes can be laughable, or they become laughable because time goes on, and things like that. And I always being very close to movies like, I don't know, Eraser was actually one I always wanted to write. Now a remake came out and a TV show is coming out. So, well, I'm late. It was just that kind of story. So when you can mix sex, blood, disturbing, exciting, horny. It was just this mix of beautiful meat markets that it was just like, hey, that's amazing. We all try to, dress up like human beings. Oh, look, I have a soul. I feel like that. You feel like that emotions. When at the end of the day, when I see mostly horror movies, you realize it's like, oh yeah, we're just animals. It's just pieces of meat walking around and try to act as blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, we're just matter, pure matter. And it's just, I feel it's a very beautiful and very raw thing that we keep building up philosophy, religion or things like that above decaying meat. And it's so interesting for me. It's just something that I always like to study like a scientist, seeing from the little thingy and just seeing human beings going around like crazy. I'll say my biggest goal is being able to be an author and being able to write my thing, direct my thing, and mostly being able to have movies that are easily recognizable as my movies, and, like David Lynch, Michael Haneke, or Wong Kar-wai, or many other authors that are not just directors, are people who create stories and who create very specific kind of stories. And mostly that's my goal. Oh my God, I can't answer that. There are just so many. Well, I grew up with Pasolini. I grew up with Visconti. I grew up with Wong Kar-wai. Oh my God, there are just so many. With David Lynch. I will say Mamma Roma by Pierpaolo Pasolini. It's probably a movie that just shattered me in 1,000 pieces, as much as Requiem for a Dream. It was just that movie that at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I don't know if this life is like weird. I don't know. When you start to making philosophical thoughts about your own life, those movies are the one that just stick with me, because it's not just, a 1 hour and a half experience that then you can forget, or you can just put a tick and says, oh yeah, I've seen it. That's okay. It's good. They just shape your life and they just change your way to see the world.